Alright, we got a beautiful 650S here. Got upgraded turbos, got upgraded injectors. It's ready for some upgraded fuel pumps. What we have here is a kit from DWS. Upgraded pumps, baskets, even got a top hat with the AN fitting on top. The one thing that they didn't do though is this connector is for the bottom of the top hat, and it cannot connect into this because this is supposed to plug into the top of the top hat. So what we had to do, a genius idea, we just cut it out. So now we have this special adapter here. Now I'm going to do the honors of plugging it in. There we go. Upgraded fuel pumps complete. Finishing things up at the shop, we got the 650S completed. Now all we got to do is take it to the dyno first thing in the morning, see what kind of power we can make. That's a good jump.
Okay, Casey, bump it over. Oh, so here's what we're doing. We're actually doing a compression check on this engine. Customer's complaint, it's got a rod knock or a bearing sound. Another shop told them just replace the engine. It's done. I don't think so. I think it's actually in the top end. We heard the noise. It didn't sound very good. We've dropped the engine. Here's our goal. We're going to do a compression check on all cylinders, make sure they look right. We're going to remove the valve covers. We're going to inspect the entire top end. And we're going to find out where the issue lies. Best case scenario, we don't have to replace the engine. We repair it. Worst case scenario, the other shop was right and it does have a bad bottom end. But before we throw the baby out with the bathwater, let's make sure it's right. Let's keep going.
Let's do it.
So far we're consistently 130 or higher. Is that cylinder 5?
Yes.
130, okay. And so here's what's important. The actual number is not the most important. It's are they all consistent? Do all cylinders have the same behavior and compression on this engine? Of course we need to be above a certain threshold, but this is going to give us an idea before we take anything apart if we've got an area we should focus on.
Alright, here we go.
Cylinder number 6.
That's it.
Where'd we hit?
We hit a 137.
137 on cylinder 6. Alright.
This is also a dry test that we're doing. We're going to run a wet test to make sure the piston rings are good as well. Cylinder 8. Good googly moogly. We hit 149 on that one.
Ooh, 149. Okay.
I'm going to do this one more time on this one.
Go ahead. Okay, so here's what we've done. We've checked all the cylinders. Our lowest cylinder is 130. Our highest is 149. Most are in the 130 to 139 range. This does not mean anything specific, but we have seen in the past that when one cylinder is higher than the other, it can typically indicate that one valve is not opening out of the 4 valves per cylinder. So who knows, but maybe this is the indication of where we're going to find the problem. Let's get the valve covers off and take a look.
Here, I'm gonna
Don't zoom in so close on me. Okay.
Let me know where I'm gonna rotate.
Here's what we're already seeing. So we had a correlation. We saw a higher compression ratio on cylinder number 8. We're looking there first, and guess what we found? One of the finger followers right here, you can see it. It's completely eaten up. The cam lobe is eating right through it. It's almost gone. This finger follower is done. We're gonna have it out in a little bit to really inspect deeper. And you know what? Gosh, it's crazy. The other ones look fine. Just this one right here is just chewed up. Which means this valve's not opening and closing fully the way it should. This is probably where all our top end sound's coming from. And we're going to inspect everything though, because we can find more damage here. So while we're in here, we're going to go ahead and analyze the oil filter as well. If we have a bottom end bearing issue, we're probably going to see a lot of glittery oil inside the oil filter. So let's remove it now. It's amazing how strong Casey is. He actually broke that oil filter free with
I was just about to say.
Just the muscles that he has.
Opened it up.
Nice job.
Nobody undid it while we were on camera.
We didn't do that off camera. So again, disclaimer, you know, we're working with a razor blade. Be careful, don't hurt yourself.
Wear eye protection.
Wear eye protection.
Razors like to go flying all the time.
Yep.
Especially around here.
Oop, don't turn it upside down, that'd be bad.
If you cut yourself on camera, we're still posting it.
We would get some ratings from that one, right? Oopsie.
Clickbait. You won't believe what happened. There's blood everywhere.
I started with 10 fingers and I ended up with question mark. Tell me in the comments below. There's probably an easier way to do this, Casey. I mean, I don't know. What do you think?
I'm just gonna let you handle it because you're doing great.
It gets slippery at this point. I think we should invest in some sort of a special tool designed just for this.
Or non-slippery oil.
In the comments below, tell us your favorite non-slippery oil brand. Casey's got his, I'm sure.
Yes.
I kind of like the Duralast Cam Phaser Killer 5000 brand. So we got our oil filter open. This gives us a chance to really analyze it, take a look, and you know what? I'm not seeing anything different than what we normally see. Maybe a couple pieces here or there, which I think came from the camshaft. It's all very shiny. The camshaft and the finger follower.
Usually every filter is going to have a couple little sparkles here and there.
But this is not, I don't see any bearing damage in this engine.
No, we would definitely.
Yeah.
For sure.
So that's great news for the customer. He's going to be excited to know that it's probably just all top end. We'll keep investigating and digging. We got to take it apart some more and make a parts list, but this looks like a repair, not a replace.
Got an orange 12C here. Came in with a monster of an oil leak. I mean, we took down the engine panels and there was oil everywhere. So that was a job in of itself, cleaning all of it up. Turns out we located the source of the oil leak. It was a bad oil pressure switch. So pretty quick job. Sometimes we can get the newer ones out without removing the manifold. Unfortunately, this is a older model, so removing the manifold is the easiest way to do it. While we were in there, we went ahead and changed out the V module, got it all put back together, and now we're just test driving until we make sure it's not leaking. Here we go. It does not grip in second, that's for sure. But it pulls good. Cruising around. Orange 12C came in with a monster of a